I haven't spent a lot of time on this particular model painting it because I just wanted to kind of get to the point where we've got something that at least somewhat represents a complete model. And so I want to show you, let's turn on the wireframe by pressing 4. And you can kind of see it. It's dark here against the dark paint job there. But I'm going to show you the tweak room. Now, the tweak room often is used to do some adjustments that you couldn't otherwise do in the paint room, but you don't want to have to go back and redo the entire process that are more deformative of the geometry. So in this case, I can take and move areas of my mesh if I want that literally will deform. You see that I'm actually moving these vertices. I will deform my model in the tweak room to meet whatever adjustments that I need to make. So let's say I wanted to raise that up but if I didn't want it to be so sharp in terms of those deformations, then I can work with different tools here to get what I want. So let's say if I draw, I can get sort of a smoothing, a change in depth as if I'm painting on it. So what I'll do is I'll take the depth down, maybe turn the fall off up, and the fall off probably needs to go higher, the depth probably needs to go a little lower, and then I'm making more gradual changes. So I literally can paint in to some degree as if I'm sculpting still the deformation. But see, this would be the difference between dealing with voxels and dealing with polygonal geometry in other programs, where if I were to say take and move this root far out, then I might get some stretching that will occur in the texture work. Whereas if I were to do this in voxels, I would just make the changes, as appropriate, and then paint it after the fact, give it geometry after the fact. The other thing I can do here is select. So I can select using a smooth, wave, wide, expanding, contracting, whatever. I can change different settings. So I can, it's almost like soft selections. And so I can take that part, and if I hit enter, it should commit that to oh, never mind. I'm sorry. The smooth and selector are together. So at this point, I should be able to, it says select with pen or rectangle, and then I can go to move. And I can either move via an axis, or I can do it with my pen tool or what have you. And so this is where the expand and contract really helps, because you can sort of tweak that a little bit or smooth it out. Let's say you needed to make it smoother, so you're not quite affecting it as strongly. Clear, increase, different things that you can do. And you can even save and load your selections in case you needed to mess with this later on. There's a couple other settings here. This mode, the expand mode, repels geometric points from a central point. So instead of it being a collapse, you've got this sort of magnification. A collapse would be the opposite there. Shift is, it says it slides, slides points along the pen move relative to screen space. So let's see what that does. It's basically along the, it's almost like a move, but it's a little bit less of a change. And then smudge is probably exactly what it sounds like, which operates a lot like shift. And of course, flatten would flatten these out. And then this smooth, which is this mode, unifies the space between geometric points relative to the cursor position. So let's see what that does. And it seems to be a lot stronger. Of course, you can change the smoothing effect here. Let's say we go down to like 20% instead. Still pretty strong. So I don't know if that's maybe some other setting or it's just a smoother operation. But it gives you some idea of the changes that you can make. Now, if you go back to your paint room, you'll see these changes have been made. So that's the tweak room. It can be useful at times. Most of the time I don't use it, but you never know.